before I begin, I just really want y'all to do me a favor. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, for some reason, I feel like that just ain't gonna do. Because as we speak right now, somebody driving to a job that they don't want for money that they need. The whole time that they drive and their passions, their dreams, they live in the backseat of the car. They go to the job, they punch the clock, they make somebody else richer. They go home, look their kids in the eyes, tell them something like, follow your dreams. Whole time that they didn't. So when I tell you to give yourself a round of applause, don't give me that half-ass round of applause that you've grown accustomed to giving everybody else. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, as I sit here, I would feel remiss if I didn't give thanks. Because Lord knows God got me through some things that I never thought that I would be able to get through. And as I reflect, I just can't help but say, dang, I can't believe I made it. Growing up, I really just can't believe that I made it. Raised by a single woman who did the best that she could. Unfortunately for her, my environment, it just had other things for me. Unfortunately, I'm just a product of my environment. Father, alcoholic, an addict, the ones that come in and out of your life. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They come in your life, they say that they're going to get their life together, then they leave again. They come in their life, they say that they heal just to leave out again and do the exact same type of damage that they did last time. My fondest memories is when he would come in when I was 11, leave out when I was 13. 13, he came back when I was 15. 15, he came back when I was 18. By the time I saw my father again, I had become a father. So when I tell you this, that I'm just a father that grew up without a father that's trying to navigate through the trenches of fatherhood, doing the best that he can, I can assure you one thing, I'm really just doing the best that I can. But once again, let's go back a little bit. Because I just said that I was a product of my environment. And I know right now, as I speak, that somebody is saying to themselves, no, you're not. Come on, black man, stop taking yourself down. You more than that. I don't think you really heard me. I said I was a product of my environment. I never said that I was a statistic. See, growing up, by the time I graduated high school, I was played with the exact same hand that most of my friends were dealt. We was left with one choice. We was left with a couple of choices. Hopefully, we will be able to go off to college, but let's just be frank here, not a lot of us did. Maybe I would be like my friends, my peers that end up working at the plant. And I just really want to just take a moment real quick because I have nothing against the plant, but I just feel like something was made better for me. And something that was made better for me, it was just given to me in a way that nobody else was going to be able to handle that. Because by the time that I was 18, I had already enlisted into the military. And I'm going to just be 100% honest with you. The military just ain't meant for everybody else. And I don't say that in the sense that I'm better than everybody else. I just want to just tell you that right now, when God gives you something, it's really just meant for you. And when I say that God gave you something that's just really meant for you, a lot of times, see, the thing is that we tend to walk away from our dreams and aspirations because they wasn't seen in the vision that somebody else could see them in. They couldn't hear it in the way that everybody else could hear it. The vision, the dream, it just didn't burn the same way that it will burn for somebody else. But so because it didn't do that, we walked away from it. One of my kids, their favorite line is the Cinderella story. And I feel like that story just has a bigger purpose than what it really serves. Disney knew exactly what they was doing when they made it. And we all know the Cinderella story. Clock struck 12. She leaves her glass slipper. The prince goes around the town putting the glass slipper on everybody else's foot. But for some reason, that slipper just didn't fit everybody else. It was too big. It was too small, too wide, too lean. But when it got to Cinderella, it was a perfect fit. And if you can't take anything away from what I'm about to say right now, I just really want to understand that your dreams, your aspirations are really a perfect fit for you. Stop having everybody else read the message that God gave you. Stop having everybody else try to proofread, decipher the message that God gave you. You're the only one that know that language. Stop trying to share that dream with everybody else. They ain't going to be able to see your vision. They can't feel that warmth. They can't hear that sound. And I bring that up because as I was enlisting in the military, everybody did the best that they could to talk me out of it. They did the best that they could. And I don't blame them for that. And I say I don't blame them for that because people that love you, they're going to give you the best advice for what they believe right there. Let me rephrase that. People that love you will give you the best advice that they believe is right for you. Family, friends came up to me. You would have thought they was on CNN. You would have thought that they had already did 20 years the way that they was giving me advice on the military. But how bad they was wrong. I would enlist in the military at 18. Here I am, 30, and it's the best decision. Let me rephrase that. Here I am, 30. I can't find anybody to talk me out of getting out of the military. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody right now to know exactly what I'm talking about. I excelled above my peers. Did things I never thought that I would do. And as I was sitting in the military as a sergeant, I was thinking that this is the path that I'm supposed to walk on. That God, thank you for leading me down this road. I thank you so much. I have family, I have friends, I have a career. God comes again, knocks and says, I have more for you. And I really just want to let y'all know right now, God got a way of giving you your gift in increments in your life. I guess it worked like this, is that I have to give you your gift at certain levels of your maturity, because if I give it to you too early, you ain't gonna know what to do with it. If I give it to you too late, you're gonna be past that vision. So I have to wait until you get to the mark in order to give it to you. And Auntie Marley, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that God gave me a different gift. Who would have known that I could speak? 2019, I had my first gig. I had to speak at a college. And as I sat around these group of prestige gentlemen, when I say they prestige gentlemen, I'm talking about the only thing that was different from them and me was I never even went to college. I'm sitting next to vice presidents, CEOs. I remember calling my aunt and I told her, I said, I don't think I can do this. I don't think they got the right person for the job. I think they need to go and find somebody else. My aunt, she told me, Demetrius, calm down. Just because somebody went to college, that don't mean that they smart. That just means that they educated. If you wasn't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there. I get on stage, my heart is calm. I give thanks and I say, God, speak through me. Next thing you know, my words, they took form. Danced around the room, I gravitated, I took everybody in. And that's when I realized that was my purpose. I would go on and I would launch a podcast, Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind. And I named it Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind because just like the way I thought, I felt like I was just an ordinary person. But as we know, most extraordinary things come from ordinary people. I go on from a podcaster to a full-on speaker. I'm speaking in LA. I'm speaking in San Diego. I'm speaking to all the high schools and colleges within the area. Next thing you know, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sharing the stage with Lisa Nichols. Who would have thought? The kid from Detroit is on stage with Lisa Nichols, one of the biggest motivational speakers of our generation. That's crazy. Let me rephrase that. The kid from Detroit is speaking at an all-woman seminar. The only male to ever do that. That's crazy. I will go on and launch my first book, Black author, published actually. Who would have thought? And as I give thanks to God one more time, you know, I'm not just giving out my accolades just to pull out my resume. Hopefully that somebody will say, hey, Demetrius, can you come and speak? No, I really just want to tell you how far up I was at one moment in my life. Because it feels like it all came crashing down. You know, here I am talking about mental health. Here I am talking about mental strength, you know, mental fortitude, being the best version of yourself. And I don't know what that version is. I just know that we were supposed to be something better. I never thought that I would be the worst version of me. And I really want everybody to understand that sometimes you get real high up just so you could come back down. And I don't think a lot of people are ready for that coming back down. And I thought that as I rose to the top, that was me coming from the bottom, you know, coming from Detroit, Michigan, overcoming the odds that were in my favor, you know, growing up as a single parent, dealing with addiction, dealing with alcoholism in my family. I thought that I had already made it. Then I moved. I came out to Virginia. They don't really prep you for the big changes that happen in the middle of your life. One minute I'm in sunny California, enjoying my life, reaping the benefits of the hard work that I had put in to come across the country by myself. One minute I'm at the peak of my military career, excelling over my peers, got selected for promotion. I'm getting promoted. I should be happy, but I'm not. My speaking career is taking off. I should be happy, but I'm not. My podcast, it's helping everybody else, but for some reason it's not helping me. I should be happy, but I'm not. I came out here and I really want somebody to understand that this is the part where a lot of people don't talk about. The adjustment change. We always talk about rising to the occasion, starting at the bottom, but rarely do we talk about how often that, we rise to the occasion. We go from the caterpillar to being the butterfly, but sometimes the butterfly ends up start thinking like the caterpillar again. Because next thing you know, I start failing. Wasn't just failing in my military career, I was failing in my podcast. I wasn't just failing in my podcast when I was failing as a speaker. I really wasn't just failing as a speaker. I think I was just failing as a man. Family, friends, they start to separate from me. I tried to get my act together. I started burning the sage, but the thing that I really want a lot of people to understand right now is that no matter how much sage you burn, no matter how many chakra bracelets you put on, how many Hail Marys you do, you'll never be able to get rid of the negative energy if the negative energy is you. And I felt like my environment, it was rejecting me. So since it wants to reject me, I'm going to go ahead and reject it. I come from Detroit. I'm really tougher than what most people think. Family that don't want to be around, I need y'all to get away. I will go to work, not miss the mark. I will go to work and miss the mark, come home back to myself. Started drinking more. At one moment, I was proud of myself. I said to myself that I had quit smoking. I got my act together. My skin glowed a little bit differently. Next thing you know, I'm chain smoking again. Find myself drinking myself to sleep. Wake up in the morning, miss the mark again, and then come back home and just sit there. People will say things like, why don't you listen to your podcast? Listen to the words that you speak out. I'm going to just tell people right now that if I was enough, I would be here right now. If my words were strong enough, I don't think I would be in this situation right now. Start praying to God. I say, God, can you hear me? God, this is me again. God, thank you for everything, but I don't think everything is working for me. It wasn't working for me. Next thing you know, I find myself sitting on my balcony. I'm drunk as usual. I guess you can say I'm a product of I guess you can say that I'm my father's son. And the thoughts, they don't tell you about those thoughts. They really don't tell you how those thoughts really work. See, everybody always says it's the voices in your head that start to tell you to do the things that you shouldn't do. But them voices ain't different. Them voices is yours. Them voices just sound a little bit more confident, but it's your voice. Them voices sound a little bit more persuasive. They're your voice. Them voices sound a little bit more certain. Never thought that I'd ever be one to commit suicide. Never thought it. Take my life, that's crazy. But I started to prep. Each day, each failed attempt, each separation, each isolation, each moment that I had a chance with myself, it just felt like it was harder to get out of bed. It felt like the moment that Sunday hit and I realized that I have to go and do this all again, it felt like as if my anxiety, it just got the best of me. It felt like every time that I would try to get online and try to speak to everybody like I was supposed to, book another gig, I just couldn't do it no more. Couldn't even listen to my own voice anymore. Because the old me, he sounded confident. This new husk of a shell of me just doesn't sound like that. And the voices, they would get stronger. Before the new year rang, I felt myself finally about to do it. And the only thing that stopped me, was my arrogance. And I really just want to take a moment and just say this real quick, because a lot of people don't understand how confidence and arrogance works. It's a thin line between being confident and being arrogant. And they tell us not to be arrogant, because arrogant is unpleasant to others. Arrogant is unbecoming of you. But I'll be 100% right now and I tell you this, that if it wasn't for my own arrogance, I don't think I would be here. And when I tell you that it wasn't for my own arrogance, I'm going to just tell you right now, see, as I was getting ready to do it, I had to think to myself, how will my funeral go? Would they put me in the right clothes? Would they dress me the same way that I would be dressed? What would they say? Like, how would my eulogy go? Who would do it? Ain't nobody else gonna be able to speak in the manner that you gonna be able to speak in, Demetrius. Who would they have to speak on your behalf? Then I thought about the people that would attend. My kids, my wife, I thought about them, but then I thought about the people that would be in the stands. People that would say that because he was up under so much pressure, he finally collapsed. And I ain't trying to take anything away from those who collapse under that pressure, but I can tell you right now, I'm just a different man. That I'll be damned if somebody sits there and says that because they put me under so much pressure, because I just couldn't do the job, that I tried to find another way to quit out of life because life was just too hard. I thought I was going to exit. My arrogance wouldn't let me do it. Like, I don't think a lot of people really understand that my arrogance wouldn't let me do it. Pull myself back together. Although I was half drunk, I had to say to myself, like, we're going to have to get our acts together. Put that bottle down. Get your act together. You better than this. I don't think a lot of people understand this part right here. We always tell ourselves to speak to ourselves nice, that the best words that we should be able to give is words of encouragement. This world is already negative. They're already destined to pull yourself down, but you need to go ahead and lift yourself up. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. At times, you're going to need to check yourself. Check yourself. Yeah, I love me, but right now, I don't like the way that I'm acting. Like you got to check yourself the same way that you would check somebody if you didn't like the way that they was acting. You got to check yourself like you would check somebody if you felt like you need to put them back in order. You need to check yourself because you're the only one that knows yourself. I had to get back to me. And then I finally understood what God was trying to tell me. God gonna put you through some of the best portions of your life just to take it away, just to make sure that you deserve it. God gonna put you through some of the best things in your life and take it away just to see how strong you really are. Did you get comfortable back there, or are you still the exact same animal that I had put through? You still got that spirit inside you, or you got complacent and allowed everything to get away from you? I say this right now. Here I am back at the top of my class. Here I am back again speaking to the masses. Here I am not done. And I tell you right now that you're not done. That you got more in the tank. Yeah, you hit rock bottom, but I can assure you one thing about rock bottom is it gives you one hell of a viewpoint. Allows you to rearrange things. Sometimes you got to step out the room just to see how messed up the room is. Sometimes you got to take a step back and have somebody else taste the food so you can know if the food actually even good. Sometimes you got to take a step back and actually talk to yourself. Stop having everybody else tell you what you need to do, and understand that it was you that got you through it, got you here, and it's you that's going to be able to get you through it. In the same way that the caterpillar became the butterfly can continue to soar. And at times, the butterfly might think that he's still the caterpillar, but I'm going to just tell you this right now. You came from a lot, but you ain't that caterpillar no more. You're stronger than this. You're better than this. Thank you.